Thank you for staying with us, and we are back. Now, this is the last leg of this conversation, and I'd like to go straight to Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, answering the question from our audience, Momanyi, who asked of the specific plans that we're putting in place as a bloc to help reduce greenhouse gases. Please give us the answer to that as you give us your final comments as well.
Well, we need the cooperation of the public, really, because one of the major pollutants in our cities and towns are vehicles which use petrol and diesel. We have been encouraging conversion of auto vehicles to electricity, electrical motorbikes and so on. And that's something that we are encouraging, and we are asking as many businessmen as possible to get into that space, because the major pollutants in our towns and cities are motorbikes, vehicles, and so on. And the intervention we make is recommend policies that can reduce the emission of smoke and greenhouses in the city. But if you go to Kisumu, for example, you'll find that we do our best to green the city. We have several parks in town. We plant trees all over the place so that as these vehicles pass, the plants that are there absorb the greenhouse gases. Amasivio. So this is what we are encouraging in our counties to do, because we don't have so much problems with that kind of pollution. Where you have industries, like the sugar factories, then the problem emerges. So they must control the kind of greenhouse gases that emit into the atmosphere. Then it requires very strict regulations about that. We were just today discussing about establishing regulations regarding the new Sugar Act, and that's one of the things we should also look into. We appeal to you, really, to support us in tree planting, in making our environment green, because it's not just the government does that, it's you. You are the first person to take responsibility that this environment is yours.
Thank you so much. And His Excellency Paul Otoma, as you also give us your final comment, one of the hats that you wear is Council of Governors Chairman of the blue economy in the country. And we are aware that annually we produce about 150,000 tons of waste from fish. And we want to know just how many plans, how active are they when it comes to value addition of this waste, so that we can also protect our environment.
Thank you so much. The waste from fish is actually not a pollutant, because a lot of it is organic. It is how we utilize it that is important. But literally, it's organic, it's biodegradable, there's nothing. And even in water, when we do fish farming, fish just lives in water. It's not even a bigger consumer of water. In fact, it's a very good environmental indicator, because as we said, even just issues like lack of oxygen, you'll see fish telling you there's some problem here, because you'll find them dead. So fish is one of the most environmentally friendly production systems. What we do about feeds that we feed them, things that we give them, a lot of it, again, as I told you, is organic. Maybe it is those secondary accessories, you know, like carrier bags, things that we use and all that, that can become environmental pollutants. But we're also encouraging that we must use biodegradable material as we do those kind of things. But more important also, we are saying it's one of the cheapest ways to produce protein. And we're in a protein deficit country and protein deficit continent. So when we produce fish, it's one of the cheapest methods. Because if you look at the kind of gases emitted by cows, you know, all these other animals that are produced, methane and all that, fish does not produce any of those things. So the blue economy is the area to be in harmony with the environment. Right. That's why we call it blue economy, an area that we have not been. And I also just want to encourage our people that within the Lake Region Economic Bloc, when we talk about economic bloc, we have got sometimes some of the poorest people. But we are also saying we have got the highest potential to transform and change the lives of our people. Let us move away from what it was said that our grandfathers worked for subsistence farming. We now go into a bit of what we are calling smart agriculture, entrepreneurial agriculture, what our neighbors here call, you don't just work for the stomach, but you also work for the pocket.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Mrs. Nyaribo. As you give us your final comment in less than 30 seconds, just tell us, talk to the women and tell them the future of women in agriculture in 30 seconds.
To all the women in this country, you have it in you to become the best producer, to become the best value addition expert. You have the best opportunity right now in terms of space to occupy in agriculture. You can be a producer. You have been told that you don't need land. You can actually produce your crops vertically. You can utilize small spaces. So there is an opportunity for us to engage in agriculture and to make our lives better. To the young girls out there, don't leave agriculture to the men alone. Get into that space also, tap into it. It is the way to go. Right. Go for the landless farming.
Right. Thank you so much for that. Finally, His Excellency Wilbur Otichilo, right here we are in Alupe University, and we have students from this institution, and we are living at a time when unemployment is very high. These young people need hope. Please talk to them about the opportunities and the hope in agriculture in this time of unemployment in 30 seconds.
Thank you. I want to say that as much as climate change has many challenges, but climate change is also giving us a lot of opportunities. And I want to encourage our young ones to look at the opportunities, because we are moving away, the opportunities that the climate change is giving us, we are moving away from rain-fed agriculture to smart agriculture, as my colleague has emphasized. And this is an area where our youth should go into. Right. There is a lot of technologies that are that have come as a result of climate change, on how to do conservation agriculture, on how to use green technologies to produce food. You don't need large tracts of land to be an agriculturist. You can now do agriculture even in your own house, in your own home, with a very small area. So I want to encourage our young ones, take this challenge that climate change is giving us to be able to change the agricultural production systems in this country and on this planet.
Thank you so very much. And with that, we've come to the end of the show. But of course, before we wind up, I will remind you of the Farm Joke question of the day. And we ask, which fish comes out at night? His Excellency, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o?
I know it. There are some people who are very fishy. One of them is a person called Jajuok, a night runner.
It's Dr. Paul, what's the answer? What's the answer?
Oh, for me? I don't know. I think I'll go with what Professor has said. Omulosi. Omundu Mulosi.
I think it's Omena that comes out at night.
Miss Nyaribo?
A nocturnal fish.
And the answer is a starfish. You get the point? Yes, and with that, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so very much, Alupe University and the County of Busia, for hosting us. Thank you so much, His Excellency Dr. Paul Otuoma, for being with us today. Thank you for making time for all of us. It has been an absolute honor. Kenya's gold is out, but we